Hi, Akerz. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today for this lovely chat. I'm really excited to get to know all about the new job help scheme and the work that you do. So tell me more.
So, hi there, Fatima. I'm Akerz, as you know, I'm a work coach. I work for the Department of Work and Pensions. And basically, the Job Help campaign, which is why we're here to talk about it today, it's basically a tool that the DWP has introduced to help job seekers back into work. Overall, Job Help itself, it's an online resource where you can find a wealth of information on CV writing tips, how to support the current skills that you've got and how to build on them, and also a wide range of information regarding job training opportunities and a wide range of information regarding the sectors that are available, including healthcare, construction, digital. The whole point of it is it's putting all the expertise of work coaches on an online platform, a wealth of information for anybody to access should they need it.
Oh wow, sounds amazing. It sounds like it's just what people need right now, because it's been really tough, hasn't it, this last 18 months, especially because of the pandemic. It's caused quite a big change within the job market. Industries such as retail and hospitality have seen some of the biggest impacts. So how can job help the people in those kind of industries with the kind of skills that they've got? But also, I think for me, I'm more interested in looking specifically for those who have also got cultural barriers in terms of trying to get work. For example, the South Asian community. How can they be helped?
So, as you correctly said, the pandemic, COVID-19, has affected everybody. It's affected everybody in some way. Nobody's unfortunately got away from it, and we are still recovering from it. What COVID-19 and the pandemic has done is it's brought unprecedented challenges across everybody in the UK now. We will talk a little bit about the BAME community. It's had a disproportionate impact on certain groups, unfortunately. Over 58% of BAME workers have had their employment affected since the start of the pandemic, compared to 47% of white workers. So that's 58% BAME workers in comparison to 47% being white workers. People of the Bangladeshi descent, unfortunately, are the most affected, with reports concluding that 80% of those have had a change in their employment circumstances. That 80% is compared to 58% of those who belong to a Pakistani descent. And the Indian population has been affected, and it's been recorded that 55% has been affected.
Wow.
Women across all ethnicities have been affected compared to men. Overall, 50% have seen their employment affected as a result of the pandemic, compared to 45% of males. This includes 75% of those being Asian women. So that's a massive percentage of those females actually come from an Asian background. If you have lost your job and you're claiming universal credit, speak to the job centre about getting a work coach. That's a really good place to start. And they can talk to you about the various schemes which are available. And those include things like Kickstart, which is for the youth. There's another one called JET, which stands for Job Entry Targeted Support. There's SWAPS, which is basically a program which upskills and at times can provide an interview at the end of it. So that's a great one. And all of those are there to basically retrain you if possible and to upskill you into a secure permanent role. The Job Help website offers a number of resources that can help you. As mentioned before, they include updating your CV, brushing up on your interview skills, because you've got to bear in mind that not everybody will be intact with the way that trends are within the labour market, or may not have sat in an interview for years. There's also an opportunity section where you can find different roles within a variety of sectors, from healthcare, digital engineering and green energy. So it really is the one-stop website for anybody who is looking. It's available for those who may be claiming universal credit, but what is fantastic about it is if you're not eligible for the benefit, this website is still available for you with all the information and help.
That's excellent. I mean, some of the stats you mentioned earlier, they were quite worrying, and I thought, that's really disheartening to hear, and obviously at the same time worrying, because obviously people will obviously start worrying about how they're going to put bread on the table. But the services that you just mentioned, they sound fantastic, and it's really refreshing to hear that there is a lot of help available. You mentioned that they need to get in touch with a work coach, and you are a work coach. So describe a typical day of a work coach. What do you do from morning till evening?
So,
how do you
it's non-stop. That's the first thing. I am basically a youth work coach, so my those customers between 18 to 24 primarily.
Mm-hmm.
But the role of a work coach is the same across the board, really. Even though who may be sat in front of you may be different, the aim of the game is exactly the same. A day for me, no day is exactly the same, to be completely honest. Each customer brings a different challenge, a different scenario, and a different way of needing help, advice, or support. So I suppose that as a work coach, my job is to basically connect with the customer. Each customer has different needs, especially being on the youth team. The needs that somebody who belongs within the 18 to 24 bracket may have a whole different set of challenges ahead of them in comparison to somebody who may be above that age bracket or of a different background or of a different age. Our job is to basically just sort of figure out how we can sort of like fill those gaps which is stopping a customer from moving into employment. We refer to them as barriers. So I suppose that we would basically sit and look at how we can overcome barriers to basically help that person back onto their feet. I think that's the main job of a work coach.
Oh, brilliant. Sounds exciting. And you mentioned that you work with a lot of young people. And I remember when I was young, I'm sure I'm a lot older than you, Akerz, but when I was young, I was undecided about what I wanted to do, and I tried so many different jobs. And sometimes I wanted to do something else, but didn't have the skills to do that. And also it was quite expensive to go on to training courses. Can you help with things like that as well? Is there funding available for things like that?
Absolutely. But if anybody is claiming university credit, please just speak to your work coach, because obviously without that conversation, you will not know what is available. There's a wide range of ways in which you could be supported depending on what your need is at the moment. You made a very valid point about being young and not being sure about what you want to do. And I think sometimes speaking to somebody that isn't from your family, isn't from your friends, isn't from your usual circle, somebody that is not going to hold any sort of judgment or no awareness, it sometimes just makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? To just talk to a stranger. Well, they wouldn't be a stranger for long, but to speak to somebody new, to speak to somebody completely detached from your home day, who understands things too. We do come from a background, obviously we're used to the conversations that we're having. So it's definitely, I would advise you 100% just to be open and to talk.
Yeah, no, it sounds brilliant. I think also because obviously not all of us want to be a lawyer or a doctor, do we? That's the usual Asian community professions that we get sort of pressured or to go into. So I think what you're offering is great, to give those options to look at other training avenues. In terms of vacancies, obviously some people do know what they want and they do want a specific job. Do you guys also have a list of vacancies that are available that people can look at and then apply for? How does that side of things work?
Absolutely. So on the website, there is an opportunity section on there where you can have a look at what labour, what's in the labour market, exist right now and what opportunities are going. If you are claiming universal credit and you are speaking to your work coach, there are schemes that we do have which will help you to learn new skills or to retrain. So I'll just talk to you a little bit about some of those schemes. So depending on your eligibility at the stage and where you're at in regards to your career, basically you can access a variety of schemes. These include the Kickstart scheme. Now, this one is a new one which is targeted for the youth. So those customers who are between 18 to 24. And this is basically a 6-month paid job with a local employer funded by the government. It provides a fully funded job opportunity for young people to gain experience and to get your foot on the career ladder. So that's an absolutely brilliant one. You could also consider an apprenticeship. Now, this one doesn't matter which age you're from. This is basically where you get a real job, but you learn and you gain as you go along, as you pick up that experience. And the best part of it is, as mentioned, is that you are being paid as you go along. You're basically an employee with a contract, you qualify for holiday leave, and by the time your apprenticeship ends, you have gained the right skills and knowledge needed for your chosen career. It can take between 1 to 6 years to complete, depending on what you go for, and basically dependent on your previous experience. And that is also funded by the government and the employer also. Another one which I mentioned at the start of this conversation is JETS, and that stands for Job Entry Targeted Support. And that is a light touch employment programme for people who have just been out of work and are claiming universal credit or new style job seekers allowance. And you have to be claimed for at least 13 weeks to be eligible for that programme. And there is also a sector-based work academy programme, and they're also referred to as SWAPs. This is basically an opportunity to learn new skills and get experience with working within a particular industry. For example, there may be a swap within care, construction, or warehouse work. And what is brilliant about the swap is that can sometimes be set up with an interview right at the end of it. So after your duration of the course is up, you can literally walk straight into employment potentially. Obviously, you'd be getting the support from the work coach also. So that is a fantastic one. If you are over 50 and find yourself looking for work, or you are facing redundancy, this can really feel daunting. And that's why the Job Help website is there. It's got a raft of tools that people can access and keep you updated with the forever changing labour market, and just keep you up to date with everything that's going on and put you back in touch with what the trends are currently.
Oh, brilliant. Sounds like a lot of information there. And lots of options for people to look into, which is amazing. I think one of the other concerns that people might have is not a lot of people are still good with technology and navigating around websites, and they prefer speaking to someone. And I think that's where you as work coaches are fantastic, because you're offering that face-to-face help. But some people also have language barriers, and that's not to say that they don't know English, but they might have a very basic command of English, which gives them less confidence to feel as if they can speak to someone to get help. How can you help people like that?
So absolutely, you do need basic reading, writing and math skills to apply for most jobs. For example, the qualifications are within the Regulated Qualifications Framework, also referred to as RQF. If you are over 16 and you've left school, you usually do not have to pay for those ESOL courses. Your work coach can enrol you onto those English learning courses. And as mentioned, they are referred to as ESOL. That is where you can learn the skills, the language skills that you may need. They are usually free depending on your employment and how long you have been a resident within the UK. So you can speak to your work coach about that. And your local colleges are the people that usually do provide them.
Oh, brilliant. That's fantastic. Is there anything else that you think we need to let our readers know that you can help them with in terms of, this difficult phase of, the job market and what is available out there, how they can access support?
Absolutely. So general advice about anybody who may be in that situation. I would just basically advise anybody to, if you are eligible for a work coach, that's probably a very good starting point, because you're speaking to somebody who knows what they're talking about, somebody who's very likely been in your scenario too. Nobody wakes up and has a job, do they? Everybody has to sort of start somewhere. So we do know what we're talking about. We can support you. Also, I would just advise people to assess your own skills and look at how they can be transferable. And what I mean by transferable is, even if you have unfortunately lost your job, look at what you can do, because you can probably still be useful in another sector of work, even though you may be so used to what you've done for the previous years. Reflect on yourself and think about what quality bring to the table. What can I do and how can I apply them elsewhere? I would also look into yourself and think about the things that you are good at. That's a really good starting point. If you're young and you don't know what you want to do, research, speak to people, speak to a careers advisor, get on the internet and have a look at what jobs are available at the moment for inspiration also. And definitely have a look at the Job Help website. That's what I'm here to talk about. So definitely do have a look at that, and have a look through the Job Help website at what work is going on at the moment. What work-based training can you access? Those are a really good way to get your foot on a career ladder, especially if you do need that retraining. You're getting all the tools that you need to get you to that job. So definitely take advantage of it.
That's brilliant. Well, with the kind of optimism that you have, Akerz, I'm sure you're going to give people that motivation and that hope that they definitely can, get through this, and they definitely can find that perfect job for them. So thank you so much for speaking to us, and I wish you all the best. And I hope our readers will definitely follow the advice that you've given, and obviously make sure they go onto the website and check out all the details.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.